So this has been my PC for the last 2 years now. Costs $4,000 to build, and I hate it. So why not make my wallet cry a bit more and spend $6,000 on a brand new PC that's not only gonna power the channel, but handle my day-to-day usage of gaming, rendering, some streaming, all that stuff. So this is it, fully built. I'll take you through the process of my brand new $6,000 ultimate PC. So starting off, my new case is going to be the Haven HS420. It's a full ATX form factor after going years with an ITX and micro ATX for my last few builds, and I love the way this looks. The company really popped up out of nowhere, and their design reminds me a lot of like Height and NZXT. It's very open as well with that clean curvature and that unibody panoramic glass panel to the front and the sides, putting all the internals on display. And airflow is a priority here at this case, given the intake cutouts underneath with that angled fan mount to keep everything flowing and cool. So while it's going to be a bit bigger than what I'm used to, the design language here really caught my eye, and it's why I wanted to go with it. Now for the heart of the build, I'm going with the NZXT N9 X870E. This is a newer release from NZXT, and to really further complement the rest of our rig, it all starts with the motherboard. White motherboards are still pretty hard to come by, let alone something that looks as clean as this does, with the aluminum shrouds and panels to hide the components and circuitry underneath it. It's just the perfect addition here, and has enough onboard features and I/O needed for my day-to-day use. Going right along with that, the main reason I want to upgrade from my current 13900 KS that has just unbearable instability issues is going to be with the AMD Ryzen 9 9950X3D. Yeah, switching from Team Blue to Team Red for the first time in about 10 years. At 16 cores, 32 threads, clocked up to 5.7 gigahertz, this is going to be an absolute beast for my daily use of editing, gaming, rendering, and so on, pretty much anything I throw at it. And it's funny because on paper, it's not going to be a substantial upgrade, but the major instability issues plaguing that gen of Intel CPUs was just incredibly frustrating. It would blue screen almost once a week for the last 2 years, and I've put up with it for far too long. So the gains here is definitely going to be noticeable to me. Keeping that cool will be the NZXT Kraken Elite 420 AIO, and of course all white. This is improved pretty much everywhere with better performance, increased flow and pressure, has a larger display, and that 420mm support with the radiator is going to be nice to help keep the temps of our CPU manageable. And right along with that, something that I've always wanted companies to do for years now, and I'm pumped to finally see them be a thing, NZXT has these single frame fans with a 420mm F-Series RGB fan unit. These are just much more convenient because it's less cables, less time consuming for assembly, and just easier to manage when it comes to syncing all the lighting together. So big fan of these, pun absolutely intended. But to finish up our motherboard, I'll be using 128 gigs of Kingston Fury Beast RGB RAM at DDR5 6400. These are white dims with RGB, and honestly, I'm either just going to disable the lighting or keep it white to give it a cleaner appearance with our X870E when mounted, and I'll just let the RGB fans inside dictate the internal visuals and colors as it reflects and bounces off the all-white interior anyways. Now sure, 128 gigs may seem like extreme overkill to most of you, but keep in mind, as a content creator, this is both my editing, streaming, and gaming PC, and between all the programs I'm using, 128 gigs is a sweet spot. Now like I was saying before here with the motherboard, everything is mostly going to be hidden by the shrouds and the panels, so underneath is where all the PCIe lanes are located, and Kingston hooked it up with a 4TB and a 2TB Renegade G5 NVMe SSD. These are nearly 15,000 megabytes a second speeds, Gen 5 as well, nearly double the speeds of my current drives, so for a boot drive with the extra lanes to add to in the future for more space, these are going to be a great starting point. Now to get these out of the way, I can begin getting the NZXT fan frames installed. My case has removable rails and mounts, so it makes assembly really quick and easy. Then I can just slide them back in, or in the future, remove those modules if I ever want to take them out to swap airflow direction. Hint, hint. Now the only downside I've experienced up to this point is with other manufacturers not necessarily accounting for the new compact size of the fan frame versus having 3 individual fans where it would be mounted in our Haven case on the bottom side here where those angled intake fans are mounted. The holes just don't line up, accounting for the more compact width, and it's like less than a millimeter. Not a major issue, I still do have it screwed in on the right side, and then I just use double-sided tape on the left. It works fine, it doesn't budge, but I would just keep that in mind going forward if you do want to pick up these single frame fans, that the dimensions might just be slightly off. Now it's time for my least favorite part, mounting our AIO. But in the HS420, like I said before, with me using a smaller, cramped cases over the last few years, it's actually nowhere near as annoying now because there's just so much room with it being all open and having access to all the mounts. Not to mention, here I'm mounting it inside the case, but up top, those rails are completely removable. So again, if I needed to access any of the connectors or swap out components, instead of completely disassembling the AIO, I could just remove that top rail and still have access on the inside. As you can see, the Kraken Elite's cooling block does have pre-applied thermal paste, something that I always have to mention because if I don't, there's just gonna be floods of people telling me I'm dumb and I forgot to do it myself. This gets mounted, pumped down, and then feeds up to the radiator, then tighten all 4 screws in the cross pattern manually to avoid unequal pressure points on the sides, and just like that, we're nearly done. Looking super clean already. And as I've been alluding to, if you've been watching closely, I have already switched all of the fan mount orientations for the exhaust and the intake. I always mess it up in my head. When I was, filming the building, I'm more focused on the actual filming aspect, but then once it was already done, swapped them all. So now it's properly reverse of what they should be, with the bottom fan frame being an intake to suck in all the cool air into our rig. The backside is intake as well, more cool air, all going in and upward, with the top side of our AIO pushing it all out for the exhaust. Reversed it, corrected it, we're good to go. Then now it's time for the star of our show, the Asus RTX 5090 Astral. This is their all-white OC model. Took me months to find this in stock, and yes, I bought it myself, and damn, this thing is massive. Believe it or not, I started getting components for this build back in May, so nearly 5 months to get a hold of this specific GPU. And pairing this with my new 9950X3D CPU is hands down gonna give me the most powerful rig I've ever owned, and easily the most expensive. I'll be mounting this vertically with the included PCIe 5.0 vertical riser, which will be hiding pretty much everything behind it because the card is so big. And Haven has this glass shield type thing, which sits underneath the GPU on the bottom for the intake fans to route the airflow directly up into the GPU. Now, getting this card to fit in the case was still not an easy task. One unforeseen issue I didn't expect was with the AIO being so large that during assembly, it butts up directly to the top of my GPU, which isn't a big deal once the GPU is actually seated, but getting it lined up and connected was not fun. But after a few minutes of frustration, once it was properly locked down and a vertical mount was now set, everything was looking pretty good to go. Now, no one wants to watch me plug in cables the whole time, so obviously as I've been building and filming, I've been doing that along the way. I went with the Asus RG Thor Platinum 2 at 1200 watts. That's gonna be enough power to power the build efficiently and gets mounted vertically, so the fan isn't being choked. And that was about all I needed to do to wrap up the build. Cables were then routed to the best of my ability with the ample channels in the back side of the case, no interference with the back panel, so I consider that a win. And once all the glass panels are back on, it looks really clean. This also marks one of the first builds where it all just worked immediately with no hiccups. Usually I'll forget a fan header or one of the RGB cables, but like I was saying, with these single fan frames, it's 3 times less work, so everything was just powered and synced from the first boot. One thing I didn't expect was a light strip on the motherboard. Had no idea that was even there, but that too can be synced and changed in CAM software for all the NZXT lighting. Only thing I'm not visually thrilled about is the bulky power cables for the 5090. Since these cards run hot and they need efficient power, they're practically zero aftermarket cables or adapters yet. So until then, they're just kind of bunched behind the card, unfortunately. And that's what a $6,000 beast of a PC looks like in 2025. You got the price breakdown. My wallet's crying, I'm crying, my wife's crying, everyone's crying. Now, again, for the last 10 years now, I've been going with Intel, and I've been going for all-white builds. If you've been a fan for that long, shout out to you, but you see the sort of build history that I've been going with. So to change over to AMD for the first time since 2015, 2015 or 2016. Definitely gonna be, it's long overdue, I should say. But going for a clean all white build like this, really love it. And then obviously, like I've been saying, inside of Cam, I can go in, change up all the RGB lighting. They have so many different built-in effects. You can have it so where it's all synced, just at the press of a button, or change up what each of the fan frames do. And same for, you know, like the pump and all that stuff. It's really cool. The actual display on the pump itself, it is way bigger than I thought it would be. So more screen real estate to either put stuff on display for like your usage or your temps. You can put GIFs on there. They have clocks, audio visualizers. It's definitely pretty cool. Admittedly, I just, you know, throw up one of their infographics and keep it as is, but it is cool to see all the stuff you can do on this if you so choose. That just leaves then the lighting for the RAM. I'm not gonna download the Kingston or HyperX software just to change up the RAM lighting, right? But that's where Signal RGB comes in. It lets me not only control the lighting of the RAM itself, but also take over all of the NZXT lighting. So I can have that all synced through Signal RGB, or just keep it a static color or whatever I want with Signal RGB for the RAM, and then go over and mess around with Cam. So gives a lot of flexibility. Odds are I'll just be keeping it all white or like a teal, but at least I have that ability with Signal RGB, which is pretty cool. Now, I love this build. Super clean, super powerful. I will say, after years and years of ITX cases or micro ATX, I wish the case was like 20% smaller. There is a lot of empty space in here still, so if it was a little bit more compact, I'd love it. Also wouldn't mind a smaller footprint on my desktop. At Computex, they did show off a smaller case, but it looks nothing like this. It's a completely different like line altogether. So I really wish in the future they would give us a smaller offering of this because it looks so nice. So yeah, that'll wrap it up for this one. If you want to see like performance reviews and benchmarks of the PC, let me know. I do want to keep the build video separate because it takes me a long time to not only then get this video edited on my old rig, but then download all the software, all the games, do the comparisons. That takes a long time. This just now, the build video. If you want benchmarks and performance, let me know down below. Give the video a thumbs up, drop your thoughts in the comments, and then if we get enough requests, I'll definitely do that video as well. But hope you all enjoyed. If you want to check out all the components and hardware that I used for the build, I'll drop it for you in the description down below. I'm randomfrankp. Hope you enjoyed my new $6,000 PC. Have a good day.